Okay, so I gave you this heart introduction. How many mistakes?
That was so blurry.
It'll focus, I think. Why is it not focusing?
I feel bad for your PM class.
And I asked you to correct it.
It's better.
It's a little better.
Yeah.
Not like great. I asked you to correct it as best as you can. Okay. Then I came around and I gave you a highlighter. And so you all probably marked your thing up with a pen or a pencil. So now let's switch to highlighter so you know what the actual mistakes are. Okay? So the heart is a single pump. Well, that's wrong. Yeah, the heart is a double pump. That's right. The heart is a double pump because we have two separate circuits. It's a double pump. We have the systemic and the pulmonic circuit. So this goes on to say the systemic circuit, yes, and the cardiac circuit. Well, that's wrong. It's not the cardiac circuit, it's the pulmonic circuit. What does pulmonic mean? Lungs. So that's your lung circuit. Okay? Those are the lungs, where the heart pumps blood out to the lungs and then back. And the systemic circuit is where the heart pumps blood out to the body and back. So let's say we begin in the right atrium, which is the pumping chamber. Well, that's wrong. The atria are receiving chambers, not pumping chambers. They receive blood. That says receiving. I'm writing small. I should double space this. It's the receiving chamber for oxygen poor blood. I wonder if I turn the light on if that'll help. Does that help any, or is that the same? Okay. Well, let's save some electricity and turn it off. Whatever. For oxygen poor blood. That's good. The flow then travels through the tricuspid valve and into the left ventricle. Well, the tricuspid valve, that works. Whoa, salud. The tricuspid valve works if we are in the right side, but we already said we're on the right side, not the left side. So blood actually flows from the right atrium to the right ventricle, not the left ventricle. Okay? And we're still talking about the right ventricle, not the left ventricle. Yeah. So the right ventricle is walled by a thin layer of cardiac muscle. That's true. Remember, the right ventricle only pumps blood out to the lungs. So it doesn't need to be super powerful. In fact, if it was really powerful, it'd probably damage lung tissue. So it's a thin layer of cardiac muscle and is the receiving chamber for oxygen-rich blood. Well, a couple of mistakes there. This is, we left a receiving chamber, and we're now in a pumping chamber. The ventricles are pumping chambers. And remember, we're on the right side, and we already said the right side deals with oxygen-poor blood. So we haven't oxygenated, so it's still oxygen-poor. So as soon as the left ventricle fills, okay, we already established that we're still on the right side. We haven't talked about the left side yet, so we're on the right side there. The right ventricle fills and the pressure increases. The mitral valve is forced closed, so we're still on the right side. So again, we're talking about the tricuspid valve, not the mitral valve. We haven't started discussing the mitral valve yet, which is on the left side. We're talking about the tricuspid or right AV valve is forced closed and the ventricle contracts, forcing blood through the pulmonic semilunar valve. Yes, as the right ventricle contracts, blood is pumped through the pulmonic semilunar valve and into the pulmonary trunk and veins. Veins always carry blood to the heart. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, and here we have blood leaving the heart. So we're not talking about veins, we're talking about arteries. Okay? Are you all able to keep up with me, or am I going too fast? All right. So from there, the blood flows to the right and left lungs, where carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere and oxygen is dropped off to be exhaled. We don't want CO2. We want oxygen. So these two are backwards. So actually oxygen, that's O2, is removed from the atmosphere, and CO2 is dropped off to be exhaled. I don't know why this thing is not focusing. Okay. So we have picked up oxygen in the lungs. We dropped off CO2. Now the oxygen-rich blood, that's cool, travels through the aorta. Nope, we're not in the aorta yet. we're traveling back to the heart from the lungs. So we're talking about pulmonary veins. The pulmonary veins carry blood back from the lungs to the heart into the right atrium. We've already talked about the right atrium. We're on the left side of the heart now. The right side of the heart deals with oxygen-poor blood. The left side deals with oxygen-rich blood. So we're in the left atrium now. From there, the ventricle, From there, the blood drops through the mitral, good, or bicuspid valve, good, and into the left ventricle, yes. Once the left ventricle fills, the pressure increases and the tricuspid valve is forced closed. Now that we're in the left side, we're not talking about the tricuspid valve anymore. We're talking about the bicuspid valve or mitral valve. I'll just write mitral. This valve has three different names. You call it the mitral valve, the bicuspid valve, or you can call it the left atrioventricular or left AV valve. So it's forced closed and the ventricle contracts, pumping blood through not the pulmonic semilunar valve, but aortic. We're going to go out the aorta now. So this is the aortic semilunar valve and into the superior and inferior vena cava. So the vena cava are veins that return blood to the heart. So we're not talking about them. Again, we're talking about the aorta. And out into the interstitial. This just means tissues that are out in the body. And where CO2 is dropped off, nope, we don't want to drop off CO2, we want to drop off oxygen into the tissues, and oxygen is absorbed into the blood. No, we're picking up all that waste CO2 that has been produced through cell respiration. Then the blood travels back to the aorta. Remember, the aorta is an artery and carries blood away from the heart. We're talking about the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. I'm just going to abbreviate those since they're really long, SVC and IVC. And back to the right atrium to start the cycle over again. Right atrium. All right. So how many mistakes is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 mistakes. You found 15? That's pretty close. Is that how many you found in the end? Was 15? Yeah. 19 mistakes is what we have here. I actually thought it was 20, so maybe I missed something. Oh, I hope not. Okay, I poked holes in it so you can keep this in your binder. Okay, I think it'd be a good idea after we build the hearts to do this again to see if you do a better job, right? To see if you have grown. Remember, this is a test.
Okay, every time I count though, I'm not getting one.
Oh, did I count wrong? Is that what it is? 1, 2, 3,
I'm getting 22.
4, 5,
Yes, that's what I'm getting.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So are you counting this as 2? Because that's not the same thing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is the same thing. How am I on 7? That doesn't make any sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I counted 21 that time.
I got 22.
Somewhere around 19 or 20 or 21 mistakes. There are about 20. Depending on how you count it, there's a lot of mistakes. Anywho, 21. 21? All right. 21 mistakes. Okay. So there you go. Keep that, and we'll try it again later. Hopefully, remember, this is the answer to your extended. I mean, you already have the answer. I helped you out with it. That's awesome. Everybody should get a really good grade on that.
Where do you want to mark it?
Yeah, keep it right alongside your 1 minute heart. I think would be a good place to keep it. Okay, so let's look at our hearts that we've been working on.
Are you still recording?
Yes, I am. Say hi to the PM class. Hi, PM class. We're done. That's cool.
Yeah, we don't want them.
That's not nice. They're good kids.
What if we weren't here for the 1 minute heart? Where should we put it in?
Buy your heart coloring sheet.
Heart intro? Yeah.
You weren't here for the 1 minute heart. We did that on 2 different days.
Wait, so you want to say we did it on the, like, where
Oh.
you did take the notes?
Oh, I see.
So she's probably wearing the right copy notes.
Yeah, okay, so then just keep it by your heart coloring sheet, and we'll practice the 1 minute heart again so they have an opportunity.
You went before or after the 1 minute heart?
I don't care. I'm not being a stickler for organization this year. I've always been really serious about organization in the binders, and I've even taken off points if everything wasn't in order. This year, I'm chilling out on that a little bit. Okay, so what have we built so far? Here's my heart model. I'm just gonna move this up. What? Everybody cool? Okay, here's this model, this heart model. We built the outside of our heart. Yeah, but we haven't added any of these vessels. We will later. We open the heart up. We've built all 4 of our chambers. The atria, 2 atria and 2 ventricles on both sides. Yep. We've built blood flow going out of the heart, our aorta, including the brachiocephalic artery, common carotid artery, and subclavian artery. We built our aortic semilunar valve right there, that white thing. We built our pulmonic trunk and arteries going out to the lungs and our pulmonic semilunar valve. We need to have blood coming back to the heart now. We've got blood leaving the heart. We need to have blood coming back to the heart. So I have given you some red. Yeah? Okay, so take a bit of your red and roll it out quite thin. Quite a lot thinner than you rolled out your other vessels. Quite thin. Yes, ma'am.
On this side of the heart, you kind of made the tunnel going to the left. Isn't it supposed to go to the right one?
Which tunnel? This tunnel right here?
Yeah.
Nope. This is for my aorta to lay in.
But if you put your hearts together, it went like,
Oh, I see. I should have cut some out over there. Is that what you're saying? To make room for my pulmonary?
yeah.
There we go. That should fix it. Okay, so even this is thicker than I want it to be. I'm going to cut this and so it's easier for me to roll it out. And we really don't need a lot. Maybe, I don't remember how long it needs to be. Just roll them out pretty thin. So that's probably pretty good right there. I don't know. There's my tool. See how it's quite a lot thinner than my tool. And with this, we're going to create our pulmonary veins. So remember, veins carry blood to the heart. Pulmonary means lungs. So these are the vessels that are going to carry blood to the heart from the lungs. So which chamber do we need to hook these up to? Huh? Oh, pulmonary veins carrying blood from the lungs to the heart is going to put the, I need to hook this up where on my heart? Yeah, the left side. Left, which chamber? Left atrium or left ventricle? Left atrium. Good. The atria are the receiving chambers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this off so it's nice and flat. Remember, I like it to look nice. And am I moving too fast?
Is this good? Do we need
That's cool. Peyton, yours might be a little bit too thick. What'd you say? No, that's cool. Skinny's good for this.
Is this good?
Might be a bit thick. Pretty thin. See it compared to my tool here?
Mine's so lumpy.
Lumpy? Yeah, it takes practice to not do that. Just got to push gently when you're rolling it out. Just kind of spread your fingers as you go. I'm not a gentle person. I am. I am but a petite and fragile flower. All right. So I'm just going to cut off maybe an inch or so. I'm just going to lay it right here. Yeah, an inch. It doesn't have to be exact. About an inch. So I have 2 pulmonary veins coming to my left ventricle from the left lungs. See that? I'm just kind of gently press them in there. Don't go crazy smashing these on because we do want to take these apart later. But just kind of gently press them in there. So they stay. Okay, so now we have blood returning from the lungs, from the lungs to the heart into the left atrium. But we also want the blood returning from the right lungs into the left atrium. So I'm going to flip my heart over. I'm going to note where is my left atrium. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to move the aorta out of the way. I'm going to take this tool, where I got that kind of little point, and right here where my left atrium would be, I'm just going to make a little divot. It does not need to go all the way through. Just a couple little divots like that. I'm going to take my the rest of my red here, my pulmonary vein. I'm going to kind of sharpen the end a little bit. Just kind of roll it to make a point. And I'm going to set it inside that divot. Let it run across the back of the heart. And then I'm going to cut it off so I can see it sticking out, just about as long as my pulmonary artery there. Yeah, pulmonary artery. And I'm going to make another one.
Mr. Taylor,
Yeah?
mine is like a circle, doesn't have a complete.
You don't have, the other side doesn't? Oh, I gave you the wrong tool.
What do you want?
Time out, PM class.
You say there's a head?
Okie dokie. So now I've sharpened this one a little bit, made it kind of pointy so it fits inside that little divot that I made. I'm just going to gently press that into place. Again, we want them to stay, so you want to push on them a little bit, but you don't want to go crazy because we do want to take them apart, and we don't want that to be super duper difficult. Now I'll just kind of blend that a little bit so it looks like nothing happened. So now we have these two vessels returning from the heart to the left atrium. And I can lay my aorta right on top of that. And that's how it should look from the back side. Of course, now my labels are backwards. Everybody with me? Nope. I need to calm down? I feel pretty calm. You want me to take a nap?
Can we take one too?
Did you bring your cookies? I don't have any cookies and milk. Did you bring your nap mats? Funny? And this is how it should look from the viewed anteriorly, and I just switch my labels again.
Wait,
So now we can see I've got blood returning from the heart, or sorry, from the lungs to the heart
can you flip it back over?
on both the left and right lungs.
I think I did mine too short.
A request to flip them back over.
Oh, I did mine way too short. So did I. Is it supposed to
What's way
show?
too short?
It doesn't go that far.
No, that's cool. As long as you can see it, it's good.
They're like short.
Yeah, those are pretty short. That's all right. It's not that big a deal.
My aorta doesn't cover it. My aorta is supposed to? Yeah.
Why doesn't your aorta cover it? Hold it up. Let me see.
I don't know because my aorta like way. When did these yellow things come in?
Oh, well, just move it. That's easy.
I don't like how short it is. When are we using it?
Are we ready?
Oh,
Well, I'm ready.
I don't think your TM class is really like this.
Huh?
Because we're kind of stupid. We're kind of slow.
No. You guys are doing great. You're doing great.
Is your TM class fast?
I'm not going to compare you guys to in class where both of you can hear.
Just because they can hear?
I will talk to you all about the PM class when the PM class can't hear it. And vice versa. Break time.
Are they gonna wait 15 minutes or 10 minutes? For us to get off break?
No, I'm going to pause the video. Or stop the video and record a second one. Probably freeze everything up again.